Hey and welcome. I'm your boy Solo. In this video, I'll be going over installing unraid for my first time, and I'll be walking through the process step by step. Before I waste any more time, let's jump into it. First thing that we need to do is create an unraid install flash media. So what we're going to need to do is open up the browser and search for unraid. It should be the first option when you search it on Google. When the page loads up, it'll have a download at the top and a download trial. Either of these buttons will be perfect. I'm just going to click download. It's going to give you option either download it for Windows or for Mac. For us, we're going to choose Windows. It's a very quick download, so it's only going to take a second. We're going to give it a click and click yes. We definitely have to accept the terms here or it won't load up. Next, it's going to give us a select the version. You can click stable or whatever you choose. I suggest going with the 6.10.3, the stable version. I'm going to go with the DHCP and allow UEFI boot. Now, if you have more than one flash drive, make sure you select the one that you want from the downloader. It's going to erase everything on it, so make sure that it has nothing on it and give it erase. This format's only going to take a few minutes. Okay, just another couple of minutes and it'll be done here. It goes pretty quickly, and then once we're done, all we're going to need to do is plug it into the computer, and then we will need to configure the BIOS to make sure that it's going to boot from the flash device. Once it's done, we're just going to click on the close. Just double check everything, just make sure, and we're just going to close out of everything here. We're just going to give it a restart and wait for it to load back up, and we want to make sure that we mash the delete button on the keyboard or F2, depends on your motherboard. For this one here, it's going to be F2, and we're just going to enter into the BIOS. Once it loads up, we're going to look for the boot options or boot menu. Once we're there, we just want to make sure that our USB drive is ahead of our hard drives, so it's going to boot from our USB drive over top of one of our hard drives. That's what we're going to want. After that, we're just going to go to exit saving changes and then click confirm. Next, it's going to reboot and load up to the operating system. It's going to ask you in 4 seconds to pick what you want. You can do the mem test. I definitely suggest doing the mem test, but we just left it go and we're going to leave it install the unraid OS. This is just going to go through some stuff and do some installing. It'll let you know if there's any errors, if there's any issues. But this should only take a few minutes. At the very end, once it shows your IP address and your server, ours is named Plex Login. That's it. That's perfect. From here, we'll be able to go over to another computer and log in using the browser. If you know command line, I'm pretty sure there's lots of things you can run in here, but I'm just going to use the GUI and I'm going to use the web browser because that's all I know so far. This is my first time setting it up. So we're going to head over to another computer and just jump into a web page. From here, just open any browser and we're going to type in http:// and either the IP or the server name. We're going to put in Plex here. This here is going to ask us to set our password for our root user, so I suggest picking a strong password. This is going to be your protection and your security for your network. Once you give it a name, just click on the set the password and then it's going to make you log in again. Just type in root and then the password that you previously typed in. Make sure it's something you can remember and make sure that you write this information down. It's very important. If you forget this information, you might end up having to reset your server or lose access to it, so keep that in mind. Once it opens up, it's going to ask you, let's unleash your hardware. We're going to click on the start a trial just to make sure that we have access to everything. If you don't like it, you can always just keep clicking start the trial or try something else if this here does not suit your needs. And this is going to say enhance your unraid experience, and it's going to give you a few things here on the flash backup, the real-time monitoring. We're going to install this here so that we have a few of these here beta features for the My server. It's in beta, so install this at your own risk. It's something I'm just testing out. Alright, the My server is going to ask you to log in. We're going to skip this here process for now. Then we're just going to jump over to the dashboard. We're just going to take a look around at some things. This is going to show our computer specs, our motherboard, our processor, how much is being used, our RAM, and our internet interface, how much is being used. And over here, it's going to show our unassigned disks as well. It's going to say that our parity is not protected because we have nothing set up. Back in the main tab, it's just going to have a place for us to assign our parity. None of ours is set up yet, and we're going to have to do that. So it's not running, the array's not showing. So we got to fix that. We have to set a couple of hard drives up, and we have to assign them here. And also, we have to make shares and users. So we're going to make a user first. This is pretty easy. Just click on add user and then choose your name. This is going to be how you access it on the network. So make sure you choose something that you're going to be able to remember to type in. So I'm just going to put my name here, add a description, and you can add other things and images in here, and make sure you put a password that nobody's going to be able to guess on your network. So make sure that you use secure information. After that, just click the add button. Okay, that's all there is to it. We're just going to click done. We can go back into it. If you happen to add one and you make a mistake on it, you can click on it and there is a delete over here, and you can click the delete and change. We're just going to go back to shares. Okay, it's not showing up. We have to turn our array on over here in main. We're going to just assign one disk. We're not going to put anything in the parity. So you can just select your hard drives. This isn't going to be very secure, and it's not going to be very safe, and you can click start, and that's as easy as it is. It'll start, you'll be able to do some things, but to do it the right way, you should definitely put one in the parity. So to do it right, I'm going to move this hard drive, and we'll put it up in the parity. Just for an example, you would put your biggest drive in your parity. It has to be the biggest one, so if you have multiple drives and you have them all different sizes, make sure the biggest one is in the parity. And this is what it should look like. This is proper, one parity and one disk in the array. So this will give you protection, but for the use that I'm going to be using it for, I don't want to use the 1 terabyte as a parity, so we're going to use the 1 terabyte just as a disk. Just for this example, I don't suggest doing it this way. I just don't want it to write over my other disk. It's my Windows installation. Okay, and just click start and it shall get started. This is going to give us the rest of the options, and hopefully it'll unlock the shares. Like I said, this is my first time installing it, so there's going to be some things I run into. We will have to format the hard drive. It does say that it's unmountable on partition, so we are going to have to format that hard drive, I think, before it'll let us make a share. So we're just going to go down here to the format and click yes, and it's going to let you know that it's going to erase everything on the disk. Double check to make sure everything is selected, and just click the format. It's going to let you know what ones are there to be formatted in the unmounted disk present. So just click format and it'll format all those ones in that list. Alright, it shouldn't take very long. And another thing we'll want to install is the apps. So go over to the apps tab and install it. Click the done when it's done. Give you a disclaimer, click understand, and I understand for the plugins. That's pretty easy. I just suggest installing that stuff. That'll give you access to all the different apps and dockers and stuff like that you can install. Okay, we're going to give our server a reboot because it didn't respond to the last changes we made. So we're just going to give it a reboot so that some of the system things take effect, and then we'll just re-access it here in a minute. Okay, same thing again. Just log in with your root and your password. We're not going to use our share password yet because we don't have anything set. And it's still not showing up. Go back to main. We're still going to have to format this hard drive. Every single time you're going to have to start the array, we're going to have to go and change that in the options later so that it starts up automatically. And again, it's just the same thing. It's unmountable. So we'll see if it works this here time after the restart. We'll just click on the yes, we want to format. Same disclaimer, and click format. Okay, there we go. It came up in green and let us know that it worked this here time. That's perfect. That fixes our issues. We should be able to make a share now. There we go. It's formatted now. So now after it's formatted, we'll jump over to the shares tab. There's going to be a few things here like app data and a few other things. We're just going to click on the add share, and it's going to add another share there. We're going to name it NAS and add a little description in there. After you add in a description, there's a few other things here. You can allocate method, high water, and there's a split level. You can automatically split level, and that'll allow you to change it here. You can put it if you want to fill one disk at a time. We're just going to leave this here stock and click add share. We're just doing this really quick because we just are setting up a basic share for videos to be on. Next, it'll unlock another tab here. It'll be the SMB security. We definitely want to click this here on private. I think we will want to export it as well so that we can see it on the network. So we'll want to export it and make it private. Make sure it's yes, and click apply. After this is done, it is going to load up a security tab at the very bottom, and it's going to say your user. Make sure that you put read and write there, or whatever it is you want. You can put that read and write, or just read, or just write. It has a few options. I'm going to put read or write for my user access so that I can do whatever I want on the share. And there it is. When we go back to shares, it'll show up, and it'll have a few here, like I said, ISO domains, a few other ones. Okay, we're gonna go back to main here, and we're just gonna take a look. We're gonna check our hard drives. We'll see our status. It'll show their names here, their IDs. It'll let us know everything here and all of our stats. Just taking a look here before we go back to the shares, and then we're gonna change the privacy on one or two of these here, just to make sure that the privacy is not sharing things on our local network. So on the system one, we're gonna go in here and go all the way to the bottom where the security is. And we're going to double check to make sure that it's not exported and that it's private. We don't want anyone accessing these things from the outside of the network, or someone that's just might gain access. We want everything set to private, and we want to just for security reasons. I'm going to go over here to the settings as well. There's a few things in here in the disk settings that we should take a look at. The enable auto start. This will allow your array to automatically start up. I definitely suggest setting this and click apply. This will help it so that it'll start up each time. Make sure the Docker's enabled as well, just making sure things are set up correctly. It'd definitely be a good idea to go over the documentation on how to set up your first server. That's all I'm doing. I'm just going through and setting up a few things, checking the tools. Everything looks to be set up pretty good now. Click on the updates just to see how things are, make sure everything is good to go. We're on the latest version. I definitely suggest always running the latest stable version for unraid, just to make sure that any fixes and stuff like that, or any bugs that were fixed, that you have the most stable version and that you're not going to run into other issues. Okay, just click the update here. We're just checking things. Like I said, this doesn't need to be updated. I know I just downloaded the best one, but we're just going to go through and just check a few things. Everything looks to be working fine, and the community plugins here and my server plugin. The user's all set up and the share's ready to go. It still shows the yellow dots beside them because they're not protected. So the little warnings beside them is because we don't have a parity disk installed. When you have your parity all done up, it'll work fine. Okay, the last step is going to be for us to actually connect to this here. So for us to connect to it, we want to open up the control. We want to open up this here PC, and we want to click map network drive. In here, it's just going to be very easy. It's going to be / plex / your share name. So for me, it's / plex / NAS drive. So this is going to be very easy. Just click finish. It's going to ask you for the username and password. This is going to be ZN Solo, and the password is going to be the password that you have set. Remember to click the remember my credentials so that you don't have to sign in again. This is going to automatically sign you in every single time. And there it is. It added up. It should load right up and show you. It's empty right now. I don't have anything in it. And it's going to show up here with the rest of the drives. This is perfect. Now it's set up. We'll have the drive here. This will be easy to access. We'll just be able to double click it from any PC. And this here unraid's not on this PC. This is on the other PC. We had to switch over here. So this is already in a different area. And I'm going to start purging my hard drives a little bit at a time and moving it over there. And then moving my hard drives one at a time and check out what balance in the data is going to be like. Like, it might be pretty hard for me to balance data, but my server's in pretty good shape. I have a pretty good CPU. My stats are looking good. I've got lots of space, and I do have a few other hard drives to add to it. So that'll make the unraid work for me really good. And what's really good about unraid is that it'll allow me to use all of my extra hard drives. Where I have a very big mix of hard drives, this is going to be great for me and great for the application that I'm using it for. It's just a storage for my videos. When I make a video and I need somewhere to put it, I want to store it for a year or something like that. I have a place to put it. This is going to be great. And it's just a big media server. Very easy to set up. It only takes a flash drive and a spare computer, any old computer, and a handful of hard drives. And this is going. This is actually done up on a laptop right now with a couple external hard drives. And I don't recommend doing that, but just for the example, I didn't want to disturb my normal NAS drive. But that's all there is to it. This is just my first look at it. That's all I'm going to cover in this here video, guys. I'm going to go a further depth into it a little bit and check some things out, make sure I got everything right. But if you guys think I did something wrong, or if you've seen me make any mistakes, definitely leave it in the comments below. I'd love to know if I have problems with my network. This is just only the first server I set up, and I could be making a few noob mistakes. So please definitely check documentation. I just set this up with the very basic setup. This will just barely get you it turned on so that you can have a storage area. And like I said, I just use it for storing my old videos. And you can add Plex server, your unraid, you can store all of your files from it. It's just a drag and drop bin, pretty much just in the same spot your normal hard drives would be. So this is just a great way to unclutter my PCs. I don't have to put another 3 hard drives in this PC. I can take all my hard drives out, put them in my other PC, and to have a big bunch of space, all count as one, and it won't show a bunch of different hard drives. So that's all there is for this one here. That's all there is to it. If you think I forgot or left something out, definitely leave it in the comments below. And if you like or found this video helpful, hit the thumbs up and get subscribed for more content. Thanks for watching.